Welcome back, guys. We are in the thick of it right now, and there is a vampire, and there's Clyde. Clyde, the Vampire Slayer. Is it going to be true, or are we going to see MVP get a win here?
I have to say, I'm really impressed with Clyde's micro.
Yeah.
You know, both Clyde and Dongregu last game met each other with the Banelings there, and, you know, the Banelings just, they came in and Clyde didn't see them, but that could have been terrible for Clyde, but he just made all the right decisions suddenly and was able to micro his way out of that one.
Yeah. Well, he's got really, really good micro. I mean, he's always been pretty impressive in that regard, but just seeing the things he's been doing today, you know, focusing down the Banelings with the Marines while he's on the run, that's tough to do. Yeah. So here's Vampire now. Well, there's Clyde now. Clyde's just got a regular smiley face. He's not winking.
He put back his Clyde burns.
Oh. They're becoming more disheveled as the day goes on.
He's trying to tame them a little bit. He doesn't want them to take over.
Well, you can't have your sideburns overshadow everything else on your face. You know?
Yeah, the Clyde burns come down, they like take over his mind and spirit, and like he's like, I am not Clyde, I am Clydeburn, and he
like sits down at the dinner table and sideburns are like, and they like bring food to his mouth and stuff. It'd be great.
He has four arms. He's like Dr. Octopus with his like sideburns. He like walks on them and stuff.
He can jump off a building and they stick out and turn to wings and he just flies. There's so many possibilities. As these sideburns get longer, it'll be exciting. The game is about to get started here. We're going to see Vampire versus Clyde. It's the GSL Team League. I am Joe, with me is Wolf. Let's get into the game. And we're into the game. On the left side of the map, it is our Protoss player from the team, MVP. His skin sparkles in the sunlight. He is
MVP Vampire.
Actually, I'm going to retract that statement. He's not one of those vampires. They aren't real vampires. Over on the right side of the map, we have our blue Terran player. He is
GSTL Clyde.
Clyde looking pretty good. Already 2 wins under his belt today. Can he get a third?
He's a win collector.
He is.
He's collecting them.
He's a win creator and a collector.
That SCV was building a supply depot backwards.
It's because the SCVs of Clyde are just that talented, man.
He got embarrassed. The camera went on him. He fixed it. He started making it the right way.
Oh goodness, you saw me showing off. I'm so embarrassed. So, Clyde not going for command center first this game,
Can't
obviously.
get away with that against Protoss.
Yeah, dual site and against Protoss, like you mentioned, not really a safe situation for that. But what does Vampire have up his Vampire sleeves?
Well, we'll have to see. This is the first time anyone's ever seen this guy play.
Yeah.
Obviously, people have hit him on the ladder, the Koreans have seen him, but I've never seen this guy play before.
We're just watching just 4 gates and we're like, oh.
I don't think that's what we're going to see.
Get to see how he is. No, I'm sure not, yeah. Not a lot of players 4-gating except in very specific situations these days in the GSL. We'll have to see how annoying he decides to be with his probe. Oh, very annoying. Something every Terran player hates.
He's going to have to go check that gas.
It's a probe sandwich. Is Clyde going to lose this SCV? Whoa, that was close.
Close for both sides.
Yeah. Okay.
Clyde actually leaving that SCV there because who knows.
Yeah,
the Scantipede's getting pushed up the ramp.
You guys didn't see it?
Scantipede's trying to fight. He's like, no, you can't kill the SCV.
Yeah.
Scantipedes have been less neutral as of late, man. They're actually trying to get involved.
They're starting to. They're starting to realize what's going on. They're like, we want to be a part of this conflict.
Also, there's a second Scantipede next to that Scantipede. There's actually 3 Scantipedes really close to each other. Normally, Scantipedes don't gather in groups. This is a little bit weird. I'm getting a little nervous, man. There could be a Scantipede uprising.
Like, know everything there is to know about Scantipedes? You're like the crocodile hunter for Scantipedes?
I know everything about Scantipedes.
It's
I'm
true.
Like change my Twitter ID to Scantipede Master.
It's true. When Wolf and I were walking home from the studio the other day, we saw Scantipede. Wolf like jumped on his back and tried to start wrestling it. He's like, "This is a grumpy Scantipede."
I know. I tried to domesticate Scantipedes. Hasn't really worked out.
No.
There's a lot of laws about it.
Well, Torch won't allow them in the Gamos either. We brought one home once. It was just a juvenile Scantipede, and Torch
he's like, you know what's going to happen when that Scantipede gets older? And I was like, yeah, it's true.
He's right. It's like Scantipedes are a big responsibility.
So we flushed it down the toilet and eventually ended up in the sewers of New York. that's what happened.
The end.
Now, the command center has been made for Clyde. Of course, the probe was not able to see that. So, based on what has been seen from Vampire, he absolutely knows nothing. He hasn't been able to scout the gas. He's going to do a Void Rail in.
Yep.
I kind of suspected this.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's so popular right now. It's really easy to pull off. It's very difficult to defend against.
It's something you see a lot, especially on maps like this, especially if the Terran wall's in.
Very true.
Yeah.
Now, he's getting Stim very quickly. Stim is very crucial in holding this off. But he's adding 2 barracks, obviously, because he made a command center. The Viking is the easiest way to hold this rush, but that's obviously not going to be an option for Clyde.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of micro. I mean, we talked earlier that Clyde's micro is really good, so he's going to have to use every ounce of it this time around.
First Void Ray is on the way.
Oh, and is the SCV going to see the Stargate? No. Very close, though.
That was pretty scary.
Yeah, look at that. How did he see that pylon and not the Stargate? That's hard to believe.
Well, that scan sees the Stargate, man.
Yeah, that'll see it.
And interestingly enough, there's only 2 gates and not 3. Normally you see 3, and he's making some sentries, so he's doing something similar to what we saw the other day. It's more of a Void Ray expand type of build where you make the sentries.
Second and a third bunker going down for Clyde. He's going to be very well prepared, lowering the depot so that he can be a little bit more maneuverable. First Void Ray is on the way.
Nexus is going to be made soon. There's a probe over there to make it, and I like this because this is a way to punish someone who goes for a faster expansion than you without actually even doing anything or committing. He's made Clyde make 3 bunkers, and all he has to do is just not attacking. He can sentry contain. He does not want to lose a Void Ray to a bunker, though that would be kind of embarrassing.
Wow, that was an interesting decision by Vampire.
I think it was more of a mistake.
Yeah.
He actually didn't lose any hit points on the Void Ray, though. The Void Ray went down to literally 0 shields, and then started recharging again. So I like this. He's putting pressure on Clyde. He's going to poke at these SCVs.
Stim is almost done, though. This is going to be pretty dangerous for him to do in the next couple seconds here.
And there's actually not a lot of places for that Void Ray to run to.
Can he actually make it out of here?
Nope.
Oh, wow. He's actually...
Oh, Clyde mismicroed.
What?
Gets away.
That is a lucky Void Ray. That Void Ray should be dead right now. Oops. Yeah. Oh, well.
Robo on the way back at home as the starport is finishing. He's going to have a reacting starport up pretty soon. And this is going to be a scary time for Vampire. There are going to be a lot of Marines and Marauders out there. Stim. And in fact, he's just got a pure Marine army, which I think is even better in this case. He's going to have a pure Marine army with Stim and Medivacs running at him. Combat shields are a third of the way down as well here. He's going to want to buy time for that robotic support bay to finish with this Void Ray attack. Now that the Medivacs are getting out, he can just ferry all of his troops down as well if he wants to, but it's very scary to do that when there are Stargate units out. You don't want to lose all your units inside of Medivacs as you're transporting them.
Yeah, exactly. So, Clyde, I mean, we can see him loading up a drop there too, and that's going to be, I think, his best bet to kind of get back in this game a little bit, because Vampire is pushing so hard at the front right now.
Vampire wants to poke, the factory is blocking. I like that.
Yep.
That dropship is going to do so much damage because there's nothing at home for Vampire. He's going to drop those Marines right into the mineral line of the natural. 3 Stalkers and a Void Ray are coming back, but is that even enough to defend against a full Marine drop? And he's actually turning around. This drop is going to be completely uncontested. He's going to have to pull all of his probes.
Yes, he is. He's going to have to react quickly. And not really reacting very quickly, losing a lot of drones. What is Vampire doing?
The answer is nothing. He's doing nothing. So many probes being taken out here.
Wow.
And in fact, these Stalkers could be focused down, but he decides not to. He's probably just going to pick up now after stimming.
Yeah, look at that Clyde.
Targeting down more probes, actually. And like you're saying, yeah, it gets an entire scout of the base.
And he can actually outrun the Void Ray, so he's going to be just fine.
During that attack, he killed somewhere between 10 and 20 workers and lost a total of 4 Marines.
All right. Thermal Lance on the way, so he's going to switch over into Colossi. And if he starts making Phoenixes, what do you think? Phoenix, Colossus, a lot of Protoss do like to use that against Terran. It's kind of fallen out of style a little bit.
We could see that. I still think it's a really strong composition. We do see it sometimes, every now and then. It's really, like you're saying, old school. It's fallen out of style.
Yeah.
We may end up seeing that. The scary part, though, is the fact that now there's this huge army out for Clyde. The Colossi are starting to pop out, but all that Clyde needs to do is switch over to Vikings, really. Should be pretty fine. He's got a very nice control of the map. Take out this pylon, which will actually supply block Vampire.
Yeah, Clyde's looking pretty scary right now. I mean, he's starting to pull ahead in supply in a decent way. Clyde only has one Viking right now, and there are 2 Colossi out on the field, so that will make a bit of a difference.
Ooh, drop in the main. This time, the probes are pulled immediately, though.
All right.
And, in fact, Clyde gets out of there immediately as well.
Yeah. Now, the thing with Vampire right now is that he's got the 2 Colossi. He's about to have a 3rd, but he doesn't actually have a lot of gateway units to support that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Clyde conceivably, even with his low Viking count, could clean up the gateway units very quickly, and then just spread and focus on the Colossi, which we see happen pretty frequently.
What I'd like to see is him go with like 8 Vikings, because there's not going to be enough gateway units to really support the Colossi. He's going to have too many Colossi almost for that, and then attack. Range is done. There are 3 Colossi out. And this is going to be a really cool timing attack by Vampire. But if this fails, if this goes wrong at all, he's going to be out of luck. The game will basically end. And in fact, Clyde has seen it. So all Clyde has to do is sit back, prepare a little bit for this.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not a strong push at all for Vampire. Clyde would have to really miss micro. He does manage to take out that drop from Clyde.
The problem with this push, though, for Clyde is that he has to engage in a small choke point.
Yeah.
He can't really engage how he wants. He's trying to split. A lot of these Stalkers taking damage before Zealots come in. Vikings targeting down the Colossi. Marauders are on the high ground. It's looking really good for Clyde. Looking really bad for Vampire. The Colossi falling like flies, and there's nothing else to support the gateway units.
And those force fields, they were pretty good, but all they did was keep his last couple units alive, and now Clyde can just push, and there's not a lot that Vampire can do about it.
There's no answer, man. The answer is typing GG on the keyboard.
So.
A really risky decision by Vampire, and it's going to come back to bite him. It's going to come all the way back to his base, bite him so hard that his Nexus explodes.
Might as well call Clyde Belmont, because he is obviously a vampire hunter. You like that?
I like that. That was good.
Yeah.
And there goes the Colossus. Sentries and Zealots fighting against a massive Bioforce that's 3 times their size.
Yep. GG time pretty soon for Vampire.
Mule drops down.
The Mule like a wooden stake into the heart of Vampire, and Clyde with game 3. He's already gone. He's that fast.
The MVP team needed an all-kill to secure first place or a 4-1 victory, but Clyde says, no. I will all-kill your team.
Yeah, it's like,
that's how this is going to work.
Yeah. Wow. So Clyde playing the best, playing some of the best games I've seen him play in a long time.
I would have to agree. He's played exceptionally well today.
Now, we'll have to kind of temper that a little bit by saying Vampire, his decisions in that game, some of them were kind of questionable. So
what happens when
he did do Clyde a bit of a favor there.
When you do a Void Ray opening, even if you don't all-in, even if you expand, if it doesn't do any damage, you lose the game against a competent Terran.
Yeah. Clyde
especially when you don't leave any units at home, and Clyde kills 20 of your probes with 1 dropship, and you don't pull your probes when the drop hits.
That was a big thing. I'm not quite sure what he was doing there. I heard like a sound, but nothing popped up.
I know. I was looking at that too.
What? But whoosh. It was just our.
That was just me. That was just me.
We need like a sound effect board that we can like press buttons and things happen.
I'd love to have like a like whenever you make a joke or like when I make a joke, it's just like really funny. I'm like, no one's laughing. I just push the button.
I want to create Dragon Howl from Star Wars. That Obi-Wan makes when something exciting happens. We can just do that.
We need that. We need that, man.
That was bad. All right. Who's it going to be? I'd love to see Guinea Pig play, and it is going to be Guinea Pig.
Wow!
It's like, we know Adoa loves our random player. We're going to send him out there. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Wants to throw a wrench into the system here.
That's right.
And, Guinea Pig's, he's got a variety of builds he can do. Obviously, he's a random player, and he's a good closer to choose in this situation, I would say.
Yeah, he's an absolutely solid player. He can do a long game with any race. Really impressive guy. He hasn't done quite as well in this team league as he has in other seasons.
Keep in mind, this guy played Protoss, then switched to Terran, then switched to Zerg, and switched into random in between there. He's played all races exclusively. This guy actually has a lot of experience with each individual race, so as a random player, he really makes sense as a random.
Yeah.
He actually used to be on the opposing team, TSL. He was once known as TSL Guinea Pig.
That's true, way back. And well, speaking of VOD, they could go back.
Yeah.
Go back and watch Guinea Pigs games from the early season.
Do that. He's actually one of the first proponents of Void Ray Colossus.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like it's break time. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere.